In a family there is love and care for each other. But our today's story is different. As the movie starts, we see a girl named April. She was going to meet her mom along with her friend because it was Christmas night and her mom invited all the students to the party. April says to her friend, "You will like my mom's party, and you will never forget this night. You will be happy after meeting my mom and siblings." April reaches her mother's house after a while. She meets her mom after so many days, and she welcomes them warmly. Her mom has invited her siblings at home. April's younger brother comes after a while, and then younger sister named Penny, and April is delighted to meet her, and her elder brother, Jackson, arrives. He comes with one of his friends, and the family was happy after meeting each other. April's mom offers a drink to everyone, but April refuses to have to because there was alcohol in it. April's dad also reaches the party after a while, and all of them were happy to see him. But their mom doesn't like this, because she hadn't invited their father. The reason was they were divorced. That's why they don't live together. April's mom asks her dad to leave, but he says, "Whatever is in our lives, but you can't separate me from my children." Saying this, he moves inside and the family gathers in the house. Before sitting at the dining table, Mom asks them to put their mobiles in a bag, because she says tonight is family time, none will use their phones. They all sit on the dining table. They were pretending nice, but there is hate in their hearts for each other. That's why they meet once a year. Only April and her younger brother in their family care for everyone. They play a game before having dinner named Secret Santa, which is also the name of this movie. In this game, they have to recognize their gifts means who has given them the gift, because names were not written on them. April's lawyer friend who has come with her purposes her, and she becomes happy to hear this. They were having dinner and talking a lot to each other. The environment became hot during the game, and they all say wrong about each other. Now it was on their tongues what they had in their hearts. Meanwhile, April's dad says, "Kids, I miss you so much." But their mom says, "Don't lie, you never took care of them." On it, April's dad scolds her mom and says, "Be quiet, otherwise it will not be good." Hearing this, the brother of April's mom says, "You can't talk to my sister like this. Look, she has taken good care of your kids. She has brought them up nicely." God knows what happened to April's dad after hearing this, and he did what none even thought about. He immediately picks up a fork and stabs it in the neck of April's mom's brother. Later, they all start hitting each other. Jackson supports his father in all this. He was beating everyone. But when his friend picks up the bowl to call the police in which mom placed their mobiles, April's younger sister Penny throw water in that bowl. This makes their phones damaged, and they can't call the police for help. Jackson attacks the servant when he tries to stop April's dad, and says, "What have you done to my dad?" Jackson was furious, and none understands what has happened to him. They all were trying to stop him, but then April comes from behind and hits something on his head. Due to it, he gets faint. Now they locked April's dad, Jackson, April's mom's brother who was ended by her dad, in a room. They tie Penny on a chair because she was getting furious. Now they all want to call help. Here they think what to do, and when they move in the car to call for help, they discover Penny has hid their car keys. The car keys were in the room in which they locked unconscious Jackson and his dad. Now they move towards that room, but when they open the room they see Jackson and April's dad escaped from there. He also took the car keys. April comes downstairs and asks for calling help while going to the neighbors, but none wants to go with her, because they all were scared. Meanwhile, her lawyer friend and Jackson's friend agree to go. April's aunt says, "I shouldn't have come here in this horrible house," and they depart to call for aid from neighbors. "I want to leave," she says. "I will give a lot of money to the person who will take me to my home." Hearing this, a servant girl agrees. But when April's mom hears that her sister is calling her house disgusting, she attacks her. They start fighting. A girl and a servant want to earn money while taking April's aunt out from here. They again move to the room to find the car keys, and the servant sees the keys, but this was just a trap for him that is fixed by April's dad. The servant becomes happy to see the keys, but as he moves ahead to get the keys, April's dad comes from behind and attacks the servant with a stone and beats him so much that he dies. On the other side, April's mom was fighting with her sister and make themselves injured. We see that April, her friend and Jackson's friend who went to call for help in neighbors, and when they knock the door, a couple comes out and get ready to help them. Meanwhile, Jackson comes from behind and ends the husband then wife. April and her friend were running from here being scared. Jackson comes from behind and captures April's friend and ends him. He separates his neck from a shovel. Seeing this, April and her friend get scared and run from there. Mom's sister injures her, and April's younger brother, The servants were ready to leave in the car outside April's mom's house. Meanwhile, April's aunt comes who has injured April's mom and her brother, and when the servant takes his neck out to see, but she hits the car door so hardly that one of his eyes comes out, due to which he also dies. Meanwhile, the servant girl cuts the neck of mom's sister with the keys. It seems that they were competing against each other to see who would end up more dangerously, and the same was happening. April and Jackson's friend were running, escaping from Jackson. Meanwhile, April stops on the way and starts weeping loudly because there was her dad's dead body in front of her, and there were strange marks on his face, which seemed like he died of an infection. The servant girl reaches there in a worse condition, and she had the same marks on her face like April's dad had on his face. Then the lungs of the servant girl comes out being melted through vomiting, and she dies. Jackson also reaches there and seeing him, April and Jackson's friend run from there. They reach near her house, but before Jackson could capture them, April's younger brother opens the door and takes them inside, then closes the door. Penny was also free, and April sees Penny and says, "Why have you done this? You damaged the phones of us all." Saying this, she starts searching Penny's bag and finds a weird medicine. She sees the medicine and asks Penny about it, but she doesn't answers. April tries to get her to take the drink that her mother handed everyone at the start of the party, but she doesn't drink it, and tells April that she had mixed the medicine in the drinks they all had. She says, "I heard that the truth comes out after having it, and I wanted everyone to tell the truth, so the misunderstanding between us will end. I don't know that people become crazy in anger after having this medicine, and ended each other being crazy." Hearing this, April says, "Penny, you haven't done right. People not only become insane after having that drink, but also die from inside, means their organs get rotten." Meanwhile, Jackson comes inside and they all were trying to stop him, but it wasn't easy to escape from him, because he was crazy in anger because of that drink. But her friend comes from behind and strangles his neck so hard that he dies. Everything was going to become fine, but then April's mom hits a sharp thing in Jackson's friend's head, which crosses his mouth, and seeing this, Penny picks up the knife and stabs her mom several times. Due to it, she also dies. April's younger brother comes to his senses after a while, and don't know what happened to him. He was also getting affected by that medicine gradually, and his mouth starts bleeding. But he throws that blood in Penny's mouth, while making her lay down, and Penny also gets infected because of her brother's blood. She gets faint, and April feels she is also dead. She wasn't believing while seeing the dead bodies that her family ended each other. The next morning, April wakes up and comes out. Meanwhile, infected Penny also comes behind her in anger, because she was also affected by that medicine. She tries to end April. April bites Penny's finger when she was trying to escape, and her infected blood is moved in April. After it, she drops Penny down, and Penny dies. After it, a family is shown at the end of the story. They were going somewhere in the car, but suddenly April comes in front of their car who was infected because she has bitten Penny, and her infected blood moved in her. When the family presses car's horn to move April from there, but she doesn't move, a man comes out of the car and asks her to move aside, but she attacks him with fork she had. I'm not sure how many more innocent lives April will take. She, too, has no idea what she is doing. Penny's small mistake ended the whole family. Here concludes this story.